Welcome friends in science lecture 5 for lesson first, chemical reactions and equations. In this particular lecture we are going to discuss displacement reaction, double displacement reaction specially. Displacement reaction, first of all, the reaction in which more reactive substance displaces less reactive substance. Now more reactive substance series, reactivity series we have already seen, and I told you that you have to learn that particular series because it makes you easy for understanding that which is a powerful element compared to the other one. So in this particular displacement reaction, simple displacement reaction, we will see one chemical experiment that will be very good understanding for you. In this experiment, as you are seeing, the copper sulfate solution you are able to see in the reagent bottle, and this particular reagent bottle, now we are pouring the reagent, the copper sulfate solution in the beaker. The iron nail is kept aside, and this iron nail, now I am going to keep it inside the, as you are seeing that the iron nail is kept inside the beaker. After few seconds of time or minute of time, once we take out the nail from the beaker, you will able to see the coating, brown color coating on the iron nail. This brown color coating on the iron nail is nothing but a displacement of iron. As many number of atoms of iron has been displaced, and it has been displaced from the iron nail. Rather, I would speak that the iron being a more powerful element in the series, as you are able to see, from the iron is at the top of it and the copper is at the lower side. So iron is more reactive compared to the copper, and this iron has displaced copper, and the copper has got accumulated on the iron nail, and the same amount of iron has got inside the solution. Now slowly this, if this reaction continues for longer period, now you are able to see this beaker having a greenish color solution. That shows that the more number of iron, that is ferrous Fe2+, which is of green color, has displaced and come inside the solution, and lot of amount of copper atoms has got accumulated on, that is as in metal ions has got accumulated on the iron, and this iron accumulation you are able, copper accumulation you are able to see on the iron nail. So from this experiment it proves that higher reactivity elements displaces the lower reactive element. In the another example, you are able to see the zinc in the same manner, that zinc is being more powerful than copper in the same solution of copper sulfate, displaces copper also, and the zinc sulfate is formed and the copper gets accumulated as the same way on the zinc strip. The same way, the third one, as we are able to see, we are able to understand that lead is another powerful element, not that much powerful compared to iron and zinc, but still in the lower category also it is more as reactive substance than copper, displaces copper. So lead which is been reacted with copper chloride, the copper is been displaced and the lead chloride is formed, and the copper is again get displaced around. So this what makes us understand about the displacement reaction. In the same manner, the word as in double displacement reaction makes an exchange of ions. I would not say rather a simple displacement reaction, because in this only a metal ion, one of the either positive or either negative, only one ion get displaced. Here the double displacement reaction, both the ions get displaced. That means more or less we understand that we are going to use either ionic substances in both of them. So the reaction in which the exchange of iron takes place, and either positive ions or either negative ions is getting displaced in the reactants, and the new product is formed. Both the new products are formed from both the reactants. One example, as you are seeing on your screen, is sodium sulfate reacting with barium chloride, forms barium sulfate and sodium chloride, NaCl, and the reaction is been balanced. So if you see that the positive ions, either you may understand as in positive ions have got displaced, that is cations, or either negative ions has got displaced, that is an anions. The same way here, this particular reaction you are able to see I have written white color precipitate. So we will learn the next is the precipitation reaction. Now what is the precipitation reaction? The reaction in which the product formation is an insoluble substance. the product which is formed, one of them is an insoluble substance. So the same reaction we are going to see in the experiment itself also, that in a one test tube sodium sulfate is kept and another test tube barium chloride. Both of them are transparent, that means they are soluble substances, so they are transparent by their nature. When one barium chloride is put inside the sodium sulfate solution, you are able to see a white color precipitate is formed. The word I have spoken as precipitate. So what is a precipitate? A precipitate is nothing but an product which is an insoluble substance, and the reaction is called as an precipitation. So the product here in this particular reaction which is formed is nothing but barium sulfate, BaSO4, as an white color substance. So this white color substance is formed as an precipitate in this particular reaction. Next is oxidation and reduction reaction. Oxidation word as an OXI, oxidation, and reduction, that is RED, basically is called as an redox reaction. That is RED and OX is termed as a redox reaction. Now what is oxidation? Oxidation reaction is a reaction in which the oxygen is gained. Oxidation means oxygen is gained, or in a reaction hydrogen is lost, either of them, or both of them can also happen in a reaction. So the reaction in which oxygen is gained and hydrogen is lost is called as an oxidation reaction, and the substance is called as we termed as substance is oxidized. So substance का क्या हुआ? That is substance is oxidized, and the reaction is called as an oxidation reaction. Now here in this reaction, as you are able to see, copper plus oxygen is nothing but copper oxide. In this experiment also you are able to see that a brown color copper is kept on the tripod stand with a Bunsen burner and gets heated. So the copper brown color material is getting converted on heating as a black color powder, which is nothing but copper oxide. So this experiment makes you understand about oxidation of copper. Here copper is getting oxidized, and the reaction of gaining oxygen is known as an oxidation reaction. So which element has got an oxygen? So copper has got an oxygen. In the same way, opposite to it, the reaction in which oxygen is lost, that means the substance already is having oxygen and oxygen is lost, or hydrogen is gained in this particular reaction, is called as a reduction reaction, and the substance is called as reduced. The substance is the element either loses oxygen or gains hydrogen is called as reduced substance, and the reaction is called as a reduction reaction. As you see in this particular reaction, that the copper oxide, it's a reverse reaction to the above one. Copper oxide, when a hydrogen gas is passed in an heating copper oxide, so the oxygen is lost from the copper side and the hydrogen is gaining oxygen. So basically the oxygen is lost from the copper. So as the copper is losing oxygen, so we say that the copper is reduced, and the reaction is called as a reduction reaction. The same reaction as we see in this experiment, that copper oxide as a black color powder. Now from this balloon you are able to see that the hydrogen gas is passing. As this hydrogen gas is passing from the balloon, the change in the color of the copper oxide is again reversed and turning back to a brown color substance. So this particular reaction you are able to see that it's a reverse reaction, but here the copper oxide is losing oxygen, so we can say that the reduction reaction has happened. This can be termed as redox reaction also. Why? Because the copper is reduced but the hydrogen is gaining oxygen. So in this particular reaction I have written both the reduction reaction where the oxygen is lost from the copper oxide to copper, and the hydrogen is gaining oxygen from hydrogen to water molecules as in steam. So this particular reaction is a redox reaction. The another example I have kept as in zinc oxide in the presence of carbon. So you are able to see that the carbon powder and the zinc oxide is added and heated. So the carbon as in charcoal take out oxygen from zinc powder, and the zinc is free as a substance or an element or a metal powder, and the carbon monoxide is being liberated. So this particular reaction you are able to see that zinc is losing oxygen. That means that it is nothing but a reduction reaction from zinc oxide to zinc, and carbon is gaining oxygen as carbon to carbon monoxide. So this is an oxidation reaction for carbon.